Okay. Are we back? OMG. Okay. So I was just in my spill and everything fell apart, and all of a sudden I was kicked offline just as I was saying to take a stand in my life rather than go on my knees and don't face this, because what we're about to talk about is the Sandra Birchmore case. On the lookout, right, Jennyville? Hold on. We've got sound coming from a place that I don't even. Okay. Let me get off there. Y'all, right? Whoa. Whoa. We're starting over. We're starting over. Hold on. There it is. Nope. There it isn't. I don't know. But if you can find me, I'm here. We're going to be talking about. Hi, Kathleen Van Bogart. Hi, Jenny Phil. There you all are. All right. Sandra Birchmore's case. It goes from the Karen Reed case into the Sandra Birchmore case. They share the same DA. It's the same Attorney General. It's the same investigators into John O'Keefe's death as it is into Sandra Birchmore's death. So if you had questions or distrust, you're about to be like, OMG. Because what you're going to find out takes it to a whole new level. It goes beyond Karen Reed and Sandra Birchmore. I feel like Sandra is going to expose this in a way that you'll look at your community and go, what in the actual heck is going on? Because it ends us hearing about 8.2 billion, almost said million, no, billion, or 2 point, not 8 point, 2 point something billion dollars. $2 billion. So I'm going to try to jump over to chat. Last time we did this, it went haywire. Where's my mouse? Okay. Let's go over to chat. Hello, welcome back. I'm here. Hi, Jennyville, Elise, Kathleen. Hello. Hi, Eliz. Hello. Hi, Kylie, Miss Anonymous, Wolf Angel, Blue Jean Baby, Jennifer Swain. Hello, everyone. All right, my lovelies. Karen, hello. I think we should get going. I just want to get on it because with everything that's happened, I'm like, what? So, I will not be stopping this very much. This is my own video, if you will, of my understanding of the case and where it all leads. It's everything I learned in the last week put into a life story, if you will, to share where we are. How can you help? Because you can be the change. You could be the change. This is the key. This is it. This is how we protect our children. And I believe Sandra Birchmore has brought it all to light. And it's so incredibly important. This is the most important message I feel I will leave on this planet. And I didn't do all the research. Everybody's doing the research. I just kind of glued it together in my own version of trying to understand it all myself. But in that, I worked my way back in time to see where's the root of the problem. And you're going to find out. You're going to find out. It's very hard to watch. But without further ado, first of all, I would like to do the fair use disclaimer. Here you are. Hidden behind in the shadow of the Karen Reed trial lies a heart of the matter far beyond what many perceive to be a few corrupt LE, possibly framing the girlfriend of a fellow officer for homicide. When corruption is widespread, taking a narrow view and focusing on a few loose cannons does not expose the root of the wicked matter at hand. As I learned of the tragic death of Sandra Birchmore and her heartbreaking life story, I began to do my own research, and what I discovered was absolutely mind-blowing. In 2011, at age 13, Sandra excitedly joined her local youth LE Explorers program, where kids are connected to LE to inspire them to join the force in their future. This is where she met Officer Matthew Farwell, according to Internal Affairs investigation, allegedly grooming her over the next 2 years. In 2013, he began an inappropriate sexual relationship with Sandra when she was only 15 and he was 27. Hundreds of digital messages and explicit exchanges between the pair over the course of several years were discovered during the investigation, according to Stoughton Police Chief Donna McNarma.
In order to be fully transparent, I am here publicly to disclose the results of an internal affairs investigation ordered by me, which uncovered serious misconduct on the part of former Stoughton police officers. What I'm about to brief you on is something deeply troubling to me as a human being and as a police chief.
Chief McNarma went on to report that Matthew's twin brother, William Farwell, is also accused of having multiple inappropriate relationships with Sarah Birchmore, whom he also attempted to introduce to other men. He allegedly exchanged multiple explicit messages and photographs with Birchmore while he was on duty. Another former deputy chief with the Stoughton Police Department, Robert Devine, leader of the after-school program at Stoughton Middle School, and Joshua Hill with Abington Police Department were also allegedly being investigated due to possible inappropriate relations with Sandra as well.
It turns out the Secretary of State's office made a mistake in its redactions and revealed the name of the fourth former Stoughton Police Department officer. His name is Joshua Hill. He's with the Abington Police Department. And this hits home for me because I invited Josh into my home shortly after the death of my son. A white pigeon, an injured white pigeon, showed up at my house. It was brought to my house. I have a TikTok video up with Joshua in it on my profile. He was the animal control officer. He was also a school resource officer.
Matthew Farwell, William Farwell, and Robert Devine have since resigned from the department. McNarma said the results of the investigation were shared with the police chief where Joshua Hill is employed, and he was placed on paid leave while his supervisors began their own investigation. Matthew Farwell, although married, allegedly continued his relationship with Sandra over the years and was the last person to see her alive in 2021. Security camera footage shows Sandra's last proof of life in the lobby, entering an elevator to her apartment. A short while later, Matthew Farwell is captured on the same security camera entering the lobby and using the same elevator to Sandra's Canton apartment. Matthew Farwell didn't deny he went to visit Sandra. He told investigators he went to her apartment to call off the relationship and engaged in what Matthew later called a, quote, pretty nasty argument, according to McNarma. A few days later, February 4th, 2021, Sandra was found hanging in her apartment. Investigators took her clothing and biological material from her body for a sexual assault kit and preserved fetal tissue because Sandra was pregnant. The following day, February 5th, an internal investigation began into Birchmore's death and any potential misconduct committed by members of the police department. After the internal investigation was completed, Norfolk County spokesman David Traub issued a statement, quote, "After state police detectives and the medical examiner found no evidence of foul play in the death of Miss Birchmore, the Norfolk District Attorney's Office referred information developed in the death investigation. It should be noted that in light of Miss Birchmore's death at age 23, the investigation to date has not developed a prosecutable statutory rape case against any individual. It is now being reported that 3 of the XLE are being sued by Birchmore's estate for wrongful death and a complaint that accuses him of engaging in a, quote, near-decade-long scheme of grooming and repeated assaults, which culminated in her death. News sources are reporting that those named in the Birchmore wrongful death complaint are Matthew G. Farwell, 38, a married former Stoughton police detective, patrolman's union president, and a father. His twin brother, William Farwell, also a now former Stoughton police deputy, and Robert C. Devine, 52, a former deputy chief in Stoughton, who previously led the department's youth program. All 3 resigned from the department in 2022 and deny allegations in the civil suit. The lawsuit also accuses Matthew Farwell of having sex with Birchmore when she was 15 years old and he was 27. If true, those actions would constitute statutory rape, as the age of consent in Massachusetts is 16. Records show the state police asked Farwell to provide a DNA sample in 2021, and he declined. Given the connection between Birchmore and the 3 former Stoughton police officers she met through the youth program, the lack of testing of the samples as alleged by Dr. Batten does not seem to fit with any standard practices that I am familiar with, said Donna Perkins, a former state prosecutor who now practices law in Dedham. It screams red flag, Perkins said. But Perkins said in Birchmore's case there was, quote, reasonable suspicion to pursue DNA testing, and investigators have several options of obtaining samples from people who decline to provide them voluntarily. State police records show Matthew Farwell's connection to Birchmore was relayed to investigators as early as February 5th of 2021, the day after she was found deceased. During interviews at East Elementary School in Sharon, where Birchmore worked, the principal told troopers he had spoken to Sandra's aunt, and she mentioned Farwell. State police records also show 3 other school employees said Birchmore had shared that she was pregnant. 2 of those employees said Sandra described her boyfriend as a police detective, and one of those employees said Birchmore shared that her boyfriend was a married father who worked for Stoughton Police. On February 6, 2021, state police interviewed Farwell and reviewed surveillance footage from Birchmore's apartment building in Canton. The security cam captured him entering and exiting the property 5 days earlier. According to Stoughton Police Internal Affairs report, he was the last known person to see Birchmore alive. 3 years later, now in June of 2024, a forensic pathologist hired by Sandra's family questioned whether the samples were ever tested, telling a lawyer for her family on June 18th that it appeared they haven't been examined. The Norfolk District Attorney's Office, Massachusetts State Police, and the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner were the first investigators assigned to the case, and so far, all declined to say whether the samples singled out by Dr. Michael Baden had been tested. Dr. Baden questioned the forensic testing in Birchmore's case last week in a letter summarizing his review of her autopsy by the state medical examiner's office. Writing to a lawyer for Birchmore's estate, Dr. Baden said he determined Sandra's death was indeed a homicide, contradicting earlier findings by state investigators who said she took her own life and that no foul play was involved in her death. Dr. Baden also confirmed that Birchmore was in her 10th week of pregnancy. A spokesperson for the state medical examiner's office said in an email that testing by the agency is, quote, focused on ascertaining cause and manner of death or the identity of the decedent. The medical examiner collects evidence to preserve for other uses by other agencies, but doesn't routinely perform tests that go beyond the role of determining cause and manner. Decisions about whether to perform additional testing are made by district attorneys or police working for them, the spokesman said. David Traub, a spokesperson for Morrissey, said forensic and DNA testing was conducted, quote, on items with the potential to produce evidence of the potential crimes being investigated, but didn't provide specifics. Other items have been preserved, he said. No criminal charges have been filed in the case at this time. However, the FBI and the Attorney General Office have launched their own investigation into Birchmore's case.
Now, I want to read for you a statement from the new and current Chief of Police of the Stoughton Police Department, Donna McNamara. I would be remiss if I did not remark that I have reviewed the findings of the outside doctor, that would be Dr. Baden, retained by Sandra's family. I was profoundly disturbed and troubled by what I read. While I'm not a trained medical examiner and I'm not qualified to draw any direct conclusions, the findings certainly warrant further examination at the highest level. So, more problems with local police, or more alleged problems with local police in Massachusetts, in that same area of Massachusetts, and now looking into exactly how Sandra died. Was this death by suicide or was this homicide?
Sandra was a quirky, kind child. She grew up in Stoughton, Massachusetts, and she was excited that she was pregnant and about to have a baby. She would tell anybody that she was so excited to have this child. And that is part of the reason why people didn't believe that she did this to herself. She grew up, she did have a hard life. You know, her mother passed away in 2016 and her grandmother passed away in 2016. And a lot of other family members passed away around that same time. So she did have a tough life, but she was so excited to become a mother. And these men took advantage of her, and it's just heartbreaking to see what was done to her. So the FBI is looking into her case. The Attorney General has her case now, and we're hoping that because of these developments now with this pathologist coming out saying that her death was a homicide, that we can put pressure on the medical examiner of Massachusetts to reopen her case and re-examine her case, and we can get justice for Sandra and her baby. She was 3 months pregnant, and that's why we've been working so hard to get Sandra's name out there. This was even before, you know, this all came out. We are just working so hard to try to keep Sandra's memory alive. And with the Karen Reed case, we've been able to piggyback off of that and bring a lot of eyes on Sandra's case.
And it's not the first time that we've seen this. And recently here in Court TV, last year we covered the Alec Murdaugh case down in South Carolina. And on the heels of that case, everyone started talking about what happened to this young man named Stephen Smith. And that case was reopened. So I see a lot of similarities in what's happening now in Massachusetts. So, Suzanne, what, from your perspective, and the folks that are supporting your cause. What is justice for Sandra?
Justice for Sandra. Oof. It would be holding these officers accountable for doing what they did instead of being protectors for her and caretakers for everybody in the community. They were doing a lot of bad things. Period.
Let me ask you, Suzanne, are we talking about the same?
And then it was sort of covered up.
Are we talking about the same investigators for the death of Sandra that investigated the death of John O'Keefe? Are there any sort of parallels in who we're talking about here?
There are a lot of common players in this story. A lot of parallels and a lot of common players, and particularly the DA. The DA in Norfolk County is heavily involved in this case.
His name is Michael Morrissey, and he is the DA that also was part of the Karen Reed case. District Attorney. Just thought you should know the name because you're going to hear it a lot more. Michael Morrissey. And David Taub, or however you say his name, is a spokesperson for the DA. So make sure you remember these names. So far you've heard quite a few names, but I'm going to be working this case, and I want you to go along with me because in this case, we can save a lot of children. And we're not alone. I'm going to be introducing you to the Marshall Project, if you have not heard about them, as well as there is a petition that I will be sharing after the live. You'll go down and it'll be pinned in the comment. Otherwise, you can go into the description and it's pinned there, and it's a petition for Sandra Birchmore's death investigation. All right? All right, let me get you back over to movie time.
And a lot of the tech, a lot of the elements that mysteriously have gone unavailable. There's a lot of parallels between this very high profile case that we're all in right now and Sandra's case. And it's sort of a blessing that we have all of this attention drawn right now because a lot of the investigative issues and a lot of the behavior, it's the same across the board. And this gives us an opportunity to really stay on all of these problems.
Melissa, let me ask you, what has been the reaction of the police in Stoughton and these officers? I believe are all off the force now, right?
Yes, they're all off the force. Matthew Farwell has been totally decertified, and the other two officers are making their way through their hearings.
Ms. Birchmore did not die of suicidal hanging. The cause of Ms. Birchmore's death is strangulation, and the manner of death is homicide, Baden wrote. And this is all from the Boston Globe reporting. While the state medical examiner found that Birchmore was pregnant when she died, the office apparently did not send fetal tissue for DNA analysis to determine who the father was. Swabs from Birchmore's body, hair, and fingernail clippings and clothing she was wearing were taken for a sexual assault kit, but Baden wrote in his report that it appears the evidence was not tested. In Baden's letter, he said Birchmore fractured her right hyoid bone, a small U-shaped bone in her neck. Such an injury occurs rarely, if at all, in suicidal hanging and does occur in half of homicidal strangulations of women.
The entire nature of the case. We are also learning that this was investigated under the same Massachusetts State Police unit as the Karen Reed case.
Now people are starting to see what we have been saying, that it was murder.
Melissa Mizzyberry runs social media pages seeking justice for the 23-year-old pregnant woman who was found dead in her apartment in February of 2021.
Basically, have been like trying to create a groundswell online to get people to realize that this young woman did not kill herself and her baby.
Sandra Birchmore's death was ruled a suicide, but a forensic pathologist hired by her family is now calling it a homicide, according to the Boston Globe. The family's attorney and Dr. Michael Baden's office declined to release that report to us.
Especially since a lot of people are putting eyes on the Karen Reed case, I am now able to piggyback off that.
Massachusetts State Police confirming it's the same unit but different officers as the Karen Reed case.
It's the same DA, it's the same Massachusetts State Police unit.
A 2022 investigation found 3 former Stoughton police officers had inappropriate relationships with Sandra after meeting her through the department's Youth Explorers program.
If there are more out there, hopefully they're going to start feeling safe to come out and
Why would they? Why would anybody come out and talk and feel safe? Because if these LE aren't LE anymore, they're still pedos. They're still pedos. And there's no criminal charges. And I'm not throwing shade at her. This is Melissa Berry. She's amazing. She's incredible. She's been fighting this in the shadows behind everybody for Sandra for a long time, and she's incredible. But that is exactly why I'm picking up the torch with her, because she needs more people working towards getting justice for Sandra Birchmore. Now, if we want to be the voice of change, we need to follow up on how Sandra actually died. And if it is by homicide, as Dr. Michael Baden is saying, we know who saw her last, right? Matthew Farwell. He was the last one to enter her apartment. Just saying. Now, the other names are his twin brother, William Farwell, Robert Devine, and Joshua Hill. They're all there. Matthew and William Farwell, Robert Devine, and Joshua Hill are the 4. Now, you're going to find out that even though Joshua is being reported to be working for a different LE, which is the Abington, you're going to find out his history and why it could be very much he's under great suspicion, just like the rest. All right, let me get you back over here to movie time. Here you go.
Say something.
Officer Matthew Farwell was 27 and Sandra 15 when the two began a physical relationship which lasted until days before her death.
I'm hoping that this will bring some justice to Sandra, because she deserves justice, and so does the baby that she was carrying.
Now, those 3 Stoughton officers have denied any wrongdoing and could not be reached for comment. Live in Stoughton, Mary Marcos, NBC 10 Boston.
I invite you to check out the Marshall Project, nonprofit journalism about criminal justice. One of the cases that they covered happened to be Sandra Birchmore, but they dug deeper than we do. And this is a rabbit hole that if you tumble down, you're about to wake up. Stoughton Police ran the Explorer program for about 15 years. The department could locate only a single 1-year agreement with Learning for Life, the scouting affiliate that oversees the National Explorer. Are you catching this? So, the Explorer program that takes the youth, and I think they about 13-ish end up, and puts them under the wing of law enforcement so that they can learn what being being in service, right, in the community, protecting people. They get to learn all that. It is all overseen, and the program belongs to the Boy Scouts. Wait till you find out what all is going on. Listen close, please. If you want to make a difference, you got to listen. Now, what you're seeing that's frozen on the screen is the actual page you're going to see when you go to the Marshall Project. Now, they work on things like OMG, amazing. But they also are covering this case, and they've deep dived, and they've connected a lot of dots here. So it goes from this Explorer program that's all over the United States, where adults that are law enforcement are allowed to be alone in a car while on shift with your teenager, a minor, up until midnight. Or I think it's midnight. Then you have to be 18 to be in the car still. And it's all over the United States. It's been going on for many, many, many decades. And are there other lawsuits? Oh, well, let's listen and see what the Marshall Project has for us. Because they reveal so incredibly much. Program. The agreement signed by Devine in 2010 required the department to encourage officers to take a youth protection training as well as undergo an annual evaluation by Learning for Life. But the agency said it hasn't found records for Devine, the Farwells, or any of its officers completed the training, nor did it locate any records related to an evaluation. The Stoughton Explorer program ended in 2016. The department said it hasn't found records of any agreement with Learning for Life or the Boy Scouts for any of the program's other years. The Boy Scouts didn't respond to questions about its oversight of the Stoughton Explorer program. While the structure of Explorer programs can vary by departments, participants are generally required to maintain an average grade score while in school, attend program meetings, and exemplify good moral character. The curriculum can include community service, firearms training, and evidence collection. One of the key components of many Explorer programs is the ride-along, where participants accompany officers for hours as they patrol. Each agency has slightly different rules for ride-alongs. Some require time limits or switch up the officers that teenagers spend time with. Since at least the 90s, the Boy Scouts has required a two-deep leadership rule, mandating 2 adults present in all of its programs. The intent was to prevent an adult from being alone with children, but the Boy Scouts carved out an exemption to the 2-deep rule for police ride-alongs and Explorer programs. Explorers are allowed to ride alone with an officer, though they must be at least 18 to do ride-alongs after midnight, according to documents on the Learning for Life website. What could possibly go wrong? One adult, no supervision, said Timothy Kosnop, a lawyer who has represented thousands of clients, including Explorer participants, suing the Boy Scouts for sexual abuse. Attorneys for the Boy Scouts responded by calling child sexual abuse a, quote, broad societal problem. This abuse can occur anywhere, even in scouting and Explorer programs, the attorneys wrote in a court filing. They argued that the organization wasn't responsible for the abuse, she alleged, because the officer had violated Explorer policies. The officer was sentenced to 30 months in prison. So, we're going to see more in just a minute, but here's how this works in Stoughton. They can't say that the Boy Scouts are saying they can't do anything because these law officers, these LE, didn't break any policies in what they did in grooming and essaying these children, because basically they weren't overseeing that place. So there was no audits, there was no training, and there's no records. It's almost as if they were like, oh, you want to do the program? Okay, that's fine. You can do it, and we won't even check on you. But since they did a follow-up to start the program but didn't oversee it, they're washing their hands while they knew doggone well Stoughton was using the entire Explorer Youth program. Help me understand. Help me understand this.
In 2022, the Boy Scouts agreed to settle with more than 82,000 people, most of them men, who said they were abused as minors in scouting programs. The scouting organization did not say how many Explorer cases are part of the settlement, which is now about $2.5 billion. The Marshall Project breaks this down in so many examples. I invite you to go to themarshallproject.org and continue with this research. Now, let's switch over.
I had
back
no
to
sound.
the past. If we go back to July 17th, 2020, which would have been approximately 7 months prior to Sandra Birchmore's.
Okay, I got sound this time. I checked. I've got now red light. I'm starting to learn to look at my red light. Sorry. It's the first day I've ever had a channel. It's my first live. Okay, listen. We are talking about over here. This is Joshua Hill for Abington. And you're like, why would he be a possible suspect with Stoughton, Ellie, and the Sandra Birchmore? Because in 2020, he was Stoughton, or Stoughton. I don't even care how you say it. He was Stoughton. He worked for them as their animal control guy. He then transferred, I believe, what was it? 6 months prior to Sandra Birchmore's death, he transfers out of Stoughton and goes to Abington. That's all. So all this Explorer program and all that, Josh Hill was introduced allegedly. Well, it's in court records, in state records. He knew all about it. He worked for them. And I believe Sandra was from Stoughton and had just moved over to Canton. Just saying. It's getting crazy, y'all. $2.5 billion lawsuit from 800 men or more. How many of those Boy Scout lawsuits include the Explorer program? How many Sandra Birchmores are there? Really? Because it's all happening now. The forensic pathologist, Dr. Michael Baden, he just is now in June, right now, bringing it out, and he's coming with all barrels. Sandra Birchmore's family has a lawyer, and the estate of Sandra Birchmore is civilly suing all three of these officers. And there's an FBI investigation. Of course there is, right? Oh, you're going to find out a lot about the history. So now, Josh Heel, this guy on the screen, switches to Abington, LE, 6 months prior to Sandra's death. Keep that on your whiteboard, right?
Death. Stoughton police gave a warm goodbye to animal control officer Joshua Hill, who did everything from wrangling snakes to caring for lizards. A little goodie, an archive from the Stoughton Daily Gazette. This was dated September 15th, 2014.
So this would be just 3 years after Sandra entered the Explorers program in 2014. So at this point, the Robert Devine is the right-hand guy to the chief of police. All right? At that time, Robert Devine. And he literally is running the after-school program. And Sandra would have been begun being essayed the year before this whole thing comes out. This is in the paper. So the Stoughton Daily Gazette is going over about how Stoughton, once haven for corrupt police officers and federal investigations, and it all being like really incredibly bad, is now cleaning up, but they don't even make it 6 months. You'll see. So this is in 2014, right? And in 2013 is where Sandra is 15. And that's when they say these inappropriate relationships began.
Stoughton. Just 6 years ago, if outside law enforcement agencies were at the Stoughton Police Headquarters, they were likely there from the FBI investigating the department. But change has swept across the department. This week, Jason Jackson and Eric Bowdle, police sergeants from Jenks, Oklahoma, came to Stoughton to learn. The department has gone from federal probes and prison time for corrupt officers to a leader in law enforcement circles. Deputy Chief Robert Devine met Jackson and Bodle through the FBI Law Enforcement Executive Development Association program. Devine is an instructor. It's been good for me professionally, but good for the department as well, said Devine. I literally can't make this up. A recent post about officers from Jenks has 30 likes and a comment that reads, "Nice job, Deputy Chief Devine." When Chastany took over, he set out to provide better training and better leadership for his department. I talked about a culture of accountability, Chastany said. Before taking the top job in Stoughton, Chastany served as lieutenant and commander for the Framingham Police Department's Bureau of Administrative Services. He has more than 30 years' experience in law enforcement. He rolled out a strategic plan that tackled issues and created a more disciplined police force. It didn't take long for the officers to latch on to Shanty's philosophies. Shortly after he took over, Chastany swiftly dealt with Officer Richard Bennett, Bennett resigned after an investigation revealed he lied about going to a local strip club while on duty and in uniform to have his picture taken with adult film actress Bridget the Midget Powers.
Are you effing kidding me? Bridget the Midget Powers, a stripper. And he wanted to get his picture taken with her while on duty. I can't even make this crap up.
New policies were instituted to ensure that mistakes of the past won't be repeated. Stoughton. The duties for Stoughton Deputy Police Chief Robert Devine.
Hold on. Hold on, Missy. Robert Devine, one of the 3 officers that are allegedly being civil sued in Sandra Birchmore's case, was chief of police back then in 2014. His boss gets fired. New guy comes in. Says it's all going to be fixed. All these federal investigations and corrupt Ellie are out of here. He's got new strategy. It's going to go swimming because he knows what he's doing. 6 months later, here you are. An affair. Now, Robert Devine is going to allege that this young woman is stalking him because photographs showed up, illicit photographs, got emailed to all his co-workers who are cops. Could it be that she wasn't in love with him, really? But could she have been another Sandra Birchmore in the making, where they're brainwashed in thinking that these are gods in their world and that they adore them and they love them because of them being very young and being groomed? Because he is going to tell you, Robert Devine himself came out and said he's the victim. He's the victim. Him. Robert Devine is the victim. His boss says so too.
Have been altered after an extramarital affair resulted in graphic photos of him and his alleged mistress being sent to the police, the arrest of an Easton woman, and an ongoing state police investigation, court records show. Stoughton Chief Police Shatney said Tuesday that, quote, modifications have been made regarding the role of the 42-year-old Devine, who told state police he had a months-long affair with Tiffany Overstreet, 30, of Easton, that went sour, according to court records. Devine is second in command in Stoughton and acting chief when Shatney is away.
Second in command and acting chief when his boss isn't there, the chief of police. Second in command. Now, knowing what you know now, where we have Sandra Birchmore, what do you think about Tiffany Overturn now? Or Overstreet, sorry. Make you ask a lot more questions. Who's the real victim? Was it just this obsessed girl that turned into a stalker where he filed with his wife a restraining order on Tiffany Overstreet, and then behind the wife's back was still going and picking Tiffany up and taking her to dinner? I can't stand this kind of crap, but you got to bring it out into the light, and we got to talk about it, and we got to fight for Sandra Birchmore because we can help a lot of people in getting these kind of people off the street to set the example. They need to be held accountable, not just lose their jobs, not be just decertified, but, as Jennifer Suing and others have said, be held to a higher standard. Seriously.
Overstreet was arrested December 18th by state police and charged with 3 counts of violating harassment prevention orders taken out against her by Devine and his wife in October. Overstreet was arraigned in Stoughton District Court and released on personal recognizance. The case has been transferred to Dedham District Court. The matter has led Jasny to take on some of Devine's work and prompt at least one police expert to question whether Devine should stay in his position. But Shatney stood by the deputy chief, saying Devine is, quote, the victim in this case, and terming the situation a personal matter. He is ensured due process, says Shatney. He is a victim, and when the case finds its way to court, the truth and all the information that is circulating will come out. And what will happen is there will be an assessment like everything. We'll assess as we do move downstream. Devine emerged as a leader in the department in the wake of an FBI corruption probe that resulted in the conviction of several Stoughton officers. The probe ended in 2010. Devine had also been the department's...
So, in 2010, so before 2014, before 2015, well, that's all going on with Sandra Birchmore, and who knows what other Explorer kids, right? In 2010, just 4 or 5 years earlier, their entire department explodes with the termination because of bad LE, corruption. Why is Karen Reed on trial? How hard is it for you to believe that there could be a conspiracy? Let me repeat that. A conspiracy where they all discuss what's going on and know what's going on. 3 to 4 law enforcement officers and maybe more. That it's all covered in beer. How hard is that to believe? Oh, okay. How about Matthew Farwell, William Farwell, Robert Devine, Joshua Hill, all accused of horrific things. Of course, they deny it all, and everybody is innocent until proven in a court of law by a jury of their peers. But that doesn't remove suspicion. And if they did do it, we need them to be held accountable. And I feel that this case, because it's already starting to blow up, right? It's gained traction with Vinny, no doubt, and others. I was hearing, just as I listed mine out today, that others were like, oh, I saw a show on this today. Let's see what you have to say. This is going to gain traction because this is huge. This is absolutely mind-boggling because it's showing us that, yeah, a conspiracy is 2 or more people gathered to do something as a plan in secret. What do you have here? You have 4 individuals named. It's a definite conspiracy, and it's not just a theory. We have the Stoughton chief of police, McNarma, and I can't say her name correctly, so forgive me. McNarma coming out. She's the one that started this investigation the day after Sandra Birchmore's death, and what she found disturbed her deeply as a human being. Can you imagine what we don't know? It's just flooring me. It's flooring.
Spokesman and has worked as an instructor in the FBI's Law Enforcement Executive Development Association.
Robert Devine, being named here, works for the FBI too. A lot of training, works close with them and part of their little division there. And he's a director. So he's teaching the new rookies that come in the door for all these years, molesting children allegedly, having mistresses, and now, possibly, he could have maybe said, take her out. We don't know. You're right, Sandra Lewis. It changes you as a person. It's totally disgusting in every way possible. Truly.
Program. Chastney said Devine, who made $122,695 in 2014, will step
in
back from his
2014.
spokesman's duty while the investigation.
Taxpayers are paying that kind of money. 6 digits to this piece of crap. Back in 2014, 6 digits. We have to start literally making these son of a biscuit eaters be accountable to the highest degree in the law. And that's how we change it. And that's why I said, I'm joining Melissa Berry on fighting this fight with her. Not personally, like I'm not working with her, but I see her struggle and trying to get the name out there, trying to get people to see. This is huge, huge. I have a question. If these Explorer programs and Boy Scout programs, if this is all going on, which it sounds like it is, I mean, $2.5 billion worth of lawsuits, could that be the root of the trafficking? Just makes me really wonder a lot of questions.
Which has involved the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, continues. Quote, this matter is being handled appropriately and transparently and will be handled according to what the public expects from us, Shatney said. Quote,
what the public expects from a corrupt law enforcement, because they're having newspapers in the area say, we're not going to be corrupt anymore. We got a new guy. He's going to get it cleaned up. We won't be having federal probes. We won't be having all these problems. It's going to get better. So what do you think they expect? They probably in that area don't expect the truth. They probably don't expect justice. But it's time. I'm telling you, the universe is going to pull you up by your short hairs if you are doing wrong. You're going to, I'm talking by 2026, you and I will be able to come back and watch this video, and you'll be able to say to me, oh my God, if we would have known all the shit that was happening back in the year you were, we just didn't know. Well, how are you going to know if you don't dig in with both hands? I'm just saying, Sandra Birchmore deserves your love and your care, and her unborn child deserves justice. I want that baby's DNA tested because they got it. I want to know who the father is. I want her body, if it's still a body, exhumed. And I want every one of the tests to be done. And I want to see if it leads us to one of the 4 on the father. Betcha it does. My money is on Matthew Farwell. Now, if you don't know enough about Matthew and his twin brother William and Robert Devine and Joshua Hill yet, let me just tell you a little bit more about Matthew. Oh yeah, I'm going to come up to topside for this. Matthew's wife was in the hospital having their firstborn child, in labor, delivering her child, when Matthew Farwell went for the last time ever to Sandra Birchmore's apartment, where she is 10 weeks pregnant and happy and telling people that she believes the father to be her boyfriend who works for the Stoughton police, or Stoughton police. Okay? He leaves her apartment. Nobody ever hears from Sandra Birchmore again. 4 days later, they find her hanging. Now, Dr. Michael Baden, he's like the Psi Ray, but of the pathology level. Only he's not new blood. You can see he is world renowned. People know this man. People respect him. He has testified in some of the biggest cases ever. You can find out tons of info. It's not a joke. He knows his shite. So if Dr. Michael Baden says Sandra Birchmore was a homicide, that's where my money's going to go, because I want to eat tonight. I don't want to be broke. So I want to know more. And I'm going to be following this with every development. And I'm going to be digging in. I want to know more about all of these guys. But yeah, while he allegedly took the life of Sandra Birchmore, he then came downstairs, as you see, exited the elevator, and went to the hospital to hold his newborn baby.
There are modifications to his responsibilities, but only because he has done nothing wrong. Court documents obtained by the Enterprise this week detail a clandestine relationship between Devine and Overstreet that started in fall of 2013 and eventually reached both his family and the department. By summer of 2014, Devine wanted to end the relationship and began receiving harassing and threatening messages, he told investigators. Devine contacted state police in November after an email containing graphic photos of him and Overstreet was sent to his police co-workers and their spouses, the police report states. Devine's wife is a police officer in a different community. Devine told state police that he continued to contact Overstreet even while the harassment prevention orders were in place.
Checking my red light, Devine, Robert Devine, goes down with his wife, who's also a fellow LE at a different town. Him and his wife go down because he's convinced her that this is some psycho broad. It was a one-time thing for a month. I don't know what happened, right? And she's freaked out, and she sent everybody emails with all our naked pictures. I need help. I'm so sorry. Let's go down. And the wifey says, restraining order her. Keep her away from our family. We have a new family, right? We have a family. We got to protect it away from these crazy girls. Meanwhile, he literally admits to the law enforcement that while he's the one that filed the restraining order, he sneaks behind the wife and he takes Tiffany Overstreet to dinner and continues to have the ongoing sexual relationship that he was having before the restraining order. Thank you, Jennifer Swain, lovely. Thank you, lovely. You say, thank you so much for your hard work and dedication to righting wrong with these cases. Love you for that. Thank you, lovely. Thank you. So when we get into this, I'm looking at Tiffany Overstreet going, this poor girl, how screwed up is your head going to be when you're basically a very young, I mean, look at her. Still looks like a baby to me, maybe 19, 18 at the most. I don't know. She could be 24. I didn't look up her age. I'm just saying she looks young. And Robert Devine's playing this game. You know, keep away, come here. Keep away, come here. Keep away, come here.
Quote, and that he did initiate some of the contact, including meeting for dinner at one point. Trooper Sean Quirk wrote in December 18 report. Overstreet told police that during this time she and Devine, quote, continued to have a physical relationship, the report states. The meetings, according to the report, came after Overstreet had threatened to commit suicide if Devine, quote, abandoned her. Court records show that a week before her arrest on December 11th, Devine and his wife requested the court, quote, immediately rescind the harassment prevention orders against Overstreet.
Okay, so right before Christmas, all of a sudden, Robert Devine and his wife, who's, like I said, a fellow LA officer, or works for LA, contact the LA that they put the restraining order in. And they're like, immediately take it down. We want it rescinded right now. Like right now. Why? I gotta know why. We're gonna have to dig.
In light of the revelations, an expert in law enforcement questioned Devine's ongoing role as a department leader. Quote, as a high-ranking member, you have to set the high example for all of the other officers in there, especially in light of your department still coming out of a major corruption scandal, said Joseph Gaicaloni, a retired NYPD sergeant commander and adjunctive professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York. Quote, he should save himself and the department the embarrassment and just resign. But another expert in police affairs doesn't think the situation warrants a resignation. Quote, he's done nothing wrong. He is a victim of a crime, said Mitch Lebrett, a criminal justice professor at Bridgewater State University and a former New York police officer. Quote, does it reveal the salacious details of his marital infidelity? Evidently, it does.
How is Robert Devine the victim? How? He's the one choosing to have the extramarital affair. He's the one choosing to file a restraining order and then pursue and initiate ongoing sexual and whatever kind of relationship with this very young woman. And then at this time, while this is going on, he is molesting Sandra Birchmore, allegedly. I'm gonna flip my wig. This is why I'm like, OMG, God help me above. I need saving from hearing this. And the only thing God told me is, stand, don't kneel. You got to be on the front line. You got to get the story out there. You can't be worried about anything. You just got to be like, look at this damn corruption. And you just got to face it. And I'm like, all right. So here we sit. So I ask you personally to go when you're done with this video, because we're going to come up to topside and we're going to chat together. But I am personally asking you from the very bottom of my heart, use the link or Google it, change.org, Sandra Birchmore. death petition. Please give her unborn child and her a chance for justice. That's all I ask for Christmas, for my birthday. Because after studying this and getting to know this story, this could have all been prevented. Every bit of it could be prevented. But you got people saying that Robert Devine is the victim. I feel so bad for Tiffany Overstreet. I feel so bad for Sandra Birchmore and her unborn child that never got to breathe.
Ability for Devine to continue in his position will depend on several factors, Lebright said. Quote, if he is a competent individual and he's an effective commander, it may take some time, but he may be able to continue in his position, Lebright.
If he's a good leader, if he's confident, and depending on his relationship with the chief, he probably won't have to resign.
Said it's going to depend on several factors: the political culture of the town and the relationship he has with the police chief and the details of what transpired. If you would like to be the voice of change, please visit change.org and look up Sandra Birchmore's death investigation petition. It would be greatly appreciated, because if you're fighting for Sandra Birchmore, you're also fighting for a lot of kids. Thank you.
Yeah. If you're seriously, when you're fighting for Sandra Birchmore, think of all the kids you're helping. Because if we can get these people held actually accountable, where they're ruined, where they get put in a place like Adam Montgomery in the Harmony Montgomery case, and I hope it's general public, I wonder if you'll touch that little boy or that little girl. And if you're going to run an organization and allow your name to be out there, like the Boy Scouts, Explorer program, anything like that, it's highly suggested just to follow up to make sure that there aren't pedos using that. Just saying. Probably a wise thing to do. Unless you want to pay $2.5 billion, right? Carolyn Forth says lots of the same players, Canton and Stoughton, and it's Stoughton, thank you, are almost like one town. I grew up the town right next to Stoughton. They were the quiet town. This is happening. We have a huge problem in MA, and it's not just Massachusetts, but with every case we work on that gets under our skin, gets in our heart, and we become the voice for the victim, there's major change in our lives, in our world. Gabby Petito, we all felt it, and we got major change with DB. When you look at Harmony Montgomery, there are laws that are passed. Oakley Carlson, laws got passed. Things get changed. So I'm asking you, can we do that? Because I guarantee you, Sandra Birchmore's story and her, because that's 2 lives, 2 that got taken for the convenience, I believe, of somebody else to have not 2 babies, but only 1, right? I already got a new baby. What do I need with that one and that girl? It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Hello, Barbara. How are you? You say that's how detectives know witnesses lie, and they keep changing their stories. So Very true. Wildman's mom says, I knew this was going to be good. You do such a good job. Thank you. Thank you. This was 2 o'clock in the morning stuff. This was my heart and soul putting a 33. It turned out to be 33 minutes on the nose. I'm like, angels are backing me on this. But God told me, this is where you need to stand right now, Danny. Yes, the Idahofour is important. We're going to be working on corruption, but we are not letting go of the Sandra Birchmore case. And right now, we are, what was it? I'd have to look. We can maybe rewind this. Oop. Okay. Let me get back to movie screen for a minute, you guys. I literally was number 2,470 for signing. Do you see they only need 2,500? That's their goal. Now, there'll be another goal after that because they want as many as possible. But let's get them to the first goal. Because this has, you can put your feet in this case, it's going to go far. We got family attorneys. We've got renowned pathologists, right? Forensic pathologists. We've got these guys by the balls. But it just takes you to really get behind it and make this happen. I would love it if all creators would get behind this and at least do one show about it to get their crew aware of how important Sandra Birchmore's case really is significant. In my opinion, it outweighs the Karen Reed case. I'm just saying. These are some corrupt mother fluckers. It's scary. It's scary. True justice. We need that. We need these people, if they are guilty, to be serving time. Barbara says, I wrote to them to ask the Post Commission not to reinstate the remaining 2. I'm Sandra's cousin. Hello, Barbara. Hello, my love. I don't know what to say. I've read everything, but I have no idea how Sandra was as a person. But what I can tell is that she wanted things to be wonderful for her baby and her. She seemed delighted to have a baby on the way. And that's from everything I've read and heard. And she had just lost her mother and her grandma in 2016. And I know a young girl that I call my daughter. She's got, all my friends are her mom because she lost her mom and her grandma at the same time when she had just graduated high school. And we adored her already. But we all told her, you always got moms here. And I know we're not the mom, but we're your mom. You'll still get Christmas presents. You'll still have a place to come and have dinner anywhere you want. And her name is Kansas. And to this day, it's been probably 8 years. She's already grown up, has a baby of her own. And she still, when she sees me or one of my friends, she runs across the room or the store and she's like, Mom! So I could relate to Sandra as Kansas, only Kansas is doing great. Kansas has a baby, so Sandra didn't have a mom. And I don't think she had a huge group of friends that she ran to. I don't know, maybe she did. I pray she did. But she never got to have that baby and experience being a mother herself. That was stolen from her. That is right, Carolyn Forth. This is just the start, everyone. I remember when I jumped on to the Sebastian Rogers case. My first video only got 2,000, I think, views. And I told you guys, I said, I'm going to be staying on this case, so you either need to jump in with me or you're going to be really bored. And that's how I feel about Sandra Birchmore. I look at my Facebook feed today and I see Kansas and her little baby, and I think, what a beautiful mom Sandra Birchmore would have been. What a beautiful mom. Barbara says, Sandra was sweet and caring, and she was a hard worker. I absolutely believe that. See, she wouldn't have taken her life, in my opinion. Barbara is telling us Sandra was just accepting to nursing school. Barbara, could we do an interview where you call in? I can't do it right now, but I'm going to ask the mods or here. This is my email, hon. You wouldn't have to go on camera. You could just call in with your phone. And I would love, did I spell? Nope, that isn't right. You got to do it with a C. I'm typing sideways. And it's in like 6 points, so I don't know if I'm typing it right. Try this again. Now it's yahoo.com, not Gmail. Yahoo. Do the second one. But if you would email me, Barbara, and then I could have you call in and we could ask you things, or you could share more about Sandra, that would be fantastic. I just want to stay on the case. I want to do whatever we have to do. Can we sign being in Canada? Why not? Absolutely. Go for it, Tara. Go for it. Is she unalive? Sorry, I came in late. Yes, silly me. She was Sandra Birchmore. You'll have to rewatch, but there's so much to this. Like I said, I'm going to upload this video separate as well because I have the actual Sandra Birchmore story and then we have this live. So it's 2 different events. But I'm going to upload both for you and you can just go watch that if you want. And it'll walk you through her whole story. And she was 10 weeks pregnant. And they are alleging that it was homicide by a very important forensic pathologist named Dr. Michael Baden. Now, if you check into her story, you're going to find out all about, well, it's actually 4 officers that allegedly ran this Explorer program for junior police that not only groomed Sandra, but began to have sexual relationships with her as young as 15. Now, the family is currently using Sandra's estate, and they've got lawyers and forensic pathologists, and they are suing a civil suit of those said officers. Now, one of the officers has been decertified. The other 2 are right now going through their hearings and all that kind of stuff. And I want us to get on board with both feet, all hands on deck. I really feel strongly about this case. 1-0 in Birchmore, not 2. Did I spell it wrong, lovely? I think I did okay. I don't know. I'll have to double check. I think it would be awesome, Barbara, if you'd be willing to come up and talk to us sometime. You said, I can speak for the family. We all want justice for her. That would be incredible. I look forward to hearing from you if you're comfortable. Forsooth investigation. Jesus is Lord. I love that. You say, I just found out about this case this morning. That's what I'm saying, y'all. This isn't something that's going to go away. You can go ahead, dig your feet in, get to understand the names. The alleged officer, the alleged ex-officers that are the officers that allegedly did this, get to know the names, right? Matthew Farwell, William Farwell, Robert Devine, and Joshua Heel, who has said worked for Stoughton, but then switched 6 months before Sandra is taken out, in my opinion, to Abington, Where do I sign? Go to the description down below, and there's a link for you that'll take you right to Sarah Birchmore's actual petition. Thank you, Carolyn, for it. Thank you. I will get it so that it's not attached to the live. It'll be available tomorrow. So when I say that, I'm talking, let me come over here. This video, let me rewind it. This little video is all its own video about Sandra. And it's 33 minutes exactly. I said I felt like the angels kind of chose that number. And this goes through the entire story and brings you up to date. Now, it's just a scratch on the surface, but I am going to put it up separately so that you guys can share it when you need to. And I really want to get her help. This needs to happen. This needs to happen. I mean, it's my birthday present to myself. I really do want justice for Sandra. And like I said, it's what I want for my birthday. It's what I want for Christmas. It's all the gifts all year to get justice for Sandra Birchmore. And so the universe usually gives me what I want for my birthday. So I'm hoping. And Christmas, well, that's Jesus's birthday. So you know it's all going to be good. It's going to be good. Karen Killoran says, great live. Love your compassion. Why did they not take DNA from the fetus? They did. This is heartbreaking and sad. They did. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely confirm. Affirmative. They took a sample from the fetus. They just didn't test it. Right, Justine? Yeah. So after I get done here, it'll take probably about an hour, maybe a little bit more, for just the actual Sandra Birchmore life story kind of update, if you will, to get uploaded and be its own thing separate from the live. And that's what I'm asking you to share, is just her story. It'll just confuse people to get on the live and all that and so forth. But Fursuit investigation, I will sign too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jennifer Swain says that would be so awesome. Sure would. They may have taken tissue from the fetus, but they haven't tested some of the evidence yet. So perhaps they are now. We don't know. Right. Right. Thank you, Silly Me, for signing. Thank you all for signing. Happy birthday, Mama D. My birthday's not till May, so I just had it, right? And so I'm just saying it's a late birthday present because it's May 27th and a whole month and a half. Well, a month has passed. So thank you so much, Mama D, for what you're doing. You are amazing. I think you are beautiful, amazing, generous, loving, kind, and a warrior. I believe we have to fight for justice. It doesn't just come natural. We have to fight for it. And that's why I have such huge respect for those in uniform that are of the good heart. I'll tell you, there are good cops. There are good firefighters. There are good doctors, good teachers, good churchgoers. But there are also bad ones. But those good ones shouldn't have to be swimming around the turds, poisoning the water in the well. And the only way those good ones are going to be able to thrive and encourage more and more good people is to get the bad ones out and punish them, right? And punish them. Yeah, that was a good question. Why no testing? That's what I want to know. Why are they not testing? Did they not test the fetus to see who the father was? Why didn't they feel that was strange for that little U-bone to be snapped, if it's so rare, if ever, in a hanging? Why didn't they queue up? Oh, let me guess. It's the same attorney general and the DA in the Karen Reed case. Could that be why? Just asking. Please post a link to the signing page. Thank you. Dawn, honey, it's already posted. You just have to hit the little arrow on your phone. It goes down to a description, and it tells you the link right there. I already did it for you. So, do I have no lovely? I quit accepting gifts to me because we have so many trolls and haters in the world. I'll tell you right now, I have a channel that's calling me possessed. I am possessed by demons, and they've lost all faith in me. And the reason is because I, like you, couldn't sleep one night, and I went scrolling, and I found this person on a panel, not on their channel, on a different panel, and they literally were making fun of me and saying I was full of SHIT and how stupid I was and how lame I was, and they didn't know I saw it. And then during my live, they ran back in my room and was like, "I love you, Mama D." And I was like, "No, you don't. I seen your ass." And so now they're calling me menopausal. They're calling me all kinds of names. You know why? Because they can't get their little channel out of the ditch unless they name somebody that's better than they are. Because I'll tell you why I know I'm better than that person. Because if I don't like you, I'll tell you to your face. I ain't going to go behind your back. And that makes me truthful, honest. Just saying. And we do need to. Silly me, we're coming together. And we are literally going to back Sandra Birchmore. Our 1111 family stands for justice. We don't kneel. We're not kissing nobody's underwear. We're up here where we can see eye to eye the corruption and call it out, bring it in the light, and be like, "Hey, Robert Devine, while you were allegedly molesting a child of no more than 15, you were also having an admitted affair with Tiffany Overstreet, accusing her of being a psycho, getting restraining orders on that poor girl, turning around and meeting behind your wife's back. Matthew, you went into a woman's apartment and took not one, but 2 lives, allegedly. And then, to the best of my knowledge, you went straight to the hospital and held the most innocent life in the world. That is the most disgusting thing I've... Ugh. That makes my head hurt. My back shiver. It's so wrong. Mama Fun. Hello, lovely. You stay at 1111 True Crime. I love your big heart. Thank you for being a voice for the voiceless. God bless you. You are that voice, my love, too. Hey, Kim. I heard that she was so excited to be a mother. So, in my opinion, why would she commit suicide? I don't know. I don't know. It's heartbreaking. I'm just saying. Shame on them. More than shame, right? That is ridiculous, Justine. That is. Yes, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. That's why I said I've been in this. Like, I started sinking into it at the beginning of last weekend. I think it was Saturday night after our live or something like that. And like, I have not went to bed before 3 a.m. because the only time I can do it is real late at night because I've got house chores and all that kind of life stuff you got to go do. You know, go see on the grandparents and all that. And summer and kids and pets. So I've been buried in this. Now, I do want to mention real quick. I read, where is that damn thing? I can't wait to see how this heats up my campfire, right? Because I'm going to burn this book. I'm normally not a book burner. Mama tell you right now, I most likely am going to torch this baby because I own it. Felt like burning my money. I read the first chapter. he even tells you the first chapter is complete fiction. The first chapter, I'm going to read a few more. I'm going to read part 1 before I get into it. I might be able to lose some weight because that makes me lose my appetite. You know what's the best diet prevention in the world? Read a Mr. B book. Just saying. Aw, thank you, Carolyn Ford. Thank you. Thank you, Mama D. We need you and everyone to help get truth, justice for Sandra Birchmore. So many people are working hard here, but it needs to be national. Thank you. Thank you. And I know there are people petitioning, walking the streets. They're going to the courthouse. This is huge. Mark my words. This is about to blow up. We are on, like I said, not many people even knew who Sebastian was. My first video, our core members showed up of about 2,000, and everybody was like, who is this now? And I was like, I'm telling y'all, we're going to be on this story like a hot foot. And I was right. Well, I'm telling you that now. This Sandra Birchmore, we're fighting. It's game on, gloves off. You want to try to prove that Karen Reed couldn't possibly, be right? That there's no corrupt, how would there be a conspiracy of the Albertsons and all this? It would take multiple people. Matthew Farwell, William Farwell, Robert Devine, Joshua Hill, the DA that's like, oh, we're not even going to truly test the evidence. We don't need to know who the father is of a baby of a dead woman? What the hell, right? Oh, yeah? Well, that's called a conspiracy. In your face. Put your tinfoil hat on, because we about to go into a real conspiracy. Absolutely. And you can't be like, oh, Mama D, I told you, you're always about the blue, boys in blue, always being corrupt. Oh, no. No. I just want to make sure the ones that are called out. I trust my law enforcement. Why? Because they've proven themselves. They do good. They're very good. Like one night, I had law enforcement parked on my street way down at the park for a long time. I walked down there. I wanted to know what he was doing. I'm curious. See something, say something, or ask. So I went down there and I'm like, how's your night going? He's sitting in a squad car. I came up like I was arrested. I'm like, hey, I couldn't see who it was, but I want to know why you're sitting in my neighborhood. Is there something going on I need to know about? What you doing? I'm just curious. I called my DA about 4 years ago, and I talked to the assistant DA for 2 hours. All because I asked the question. We had dirty cops at the time. Very corrupt. Very corrupt. They're done. They're more than done. But at that time, we had them. And I called him and I said, why is a cop always at the school talking to the teenage girls? Like I went in to get my son. 3rd time this week, I go to the candy part where they're selling the candy and all the little teenage girls are there. And I see the cop leaning up against the Hershey bars talking to these girls. So I called my assistant. Well, I called the DA, but talked to the assistant. You got to take action. And you got to be the voice, and you got to ask questions. What are you doing here? Just because somebody wears a badge doesn't make them above the law. That's just what we're programmed to think. And it's time to really look at who's visiting your kids at your school. Just asking. It's called being a mama. That's right. That's right. I'm Mama D because I love all these kids, whether they're mine or not. Kylie Jackson Bell gifted 1 membership. Thank you, beautiful. We are doing our members live this coming up week. It'll probably be Thursday, Wednesday, something like that. And so I want to say thank you, Kylie, for gifting that membership. And let's see who got it. Let's see. Aw, Kylie, thank you for the 2nd gifted membership. Oh, it's so tiny. Kieran, Karen, I think it's Killaran. I'll look on my phone. Karen Killaran, welcome as a starlight. Thank you. Silly Me says, can't her family make them test the fetus? Yeah, by getting a lawyer, which they've done, right? And by getting a forensic pathologist on board, which they've done. So, I can't wait to find out who the daddy be. Ooh, it's like waiting on a Jerry Springer episode for that part, because I darn sure absolutely believe without a shadow of a doubt in my heart of hearts, right, in the core of my heart, I believe it will be one of these 4 individuals, if not Matthew Farwell himself, in my humble opinion. But I could be wrong. We need the tests to prove it. Let's see who else. Kim House, welcome as a starlight. Thank you, my lovely. You'll be able to join us, both you ladies, because of Kylie Jackson. Thank you, lovely. On our members chat. So we go live to the public, but only the members can chat, and that's 1 time a week. And so that'll be wonderful. Oh, are you ready? I should have started it with this, but I got so busy on the case I forgot. So, if you want to win this beautiful digital camera, right? Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. See? Yep. You can win this beautiful digital video camera. Everything's here. It also comes with a stand, a backup battery, all kinds of stuff. DBC giveaway, and be a subscriber, and you could be the one that gets to start filming. And who knows, maybe it'll inspire you to become a YouTube star, and I can shout your channel out. Do you love it? Do you love it? I feel like Vanna White every time. Comes with a whole box of goodies, all kinds of little gadgets. Like I said, a backup battery, right? I tried it. This is a dang good camera with great pixels. It really is crystal clear. I don't know how good you can see, but it takes crystal clear footage. So, all you need to be is a subscriber. Make sure you don't put a whole bunch of text with your post. It has to be not on live. It doesn't work on the live. It has to be on the actual, I did want to read that. It has to be in posted video already, so that you're on your own comments there, because that's what I'm searching. So what I do is I hit filter subscriber, and then filter, and I can use the words DVC giveaway. So that's why you need to put it DV, D as in duck, V as in Victor, C as in camera, or digital video camera giveaway. Because then when we hit 30,000 subs, which is coming along quite quickly, we're going to get this away to someone. And because of scammers and all that, I'm going to cover the shipping no matter where it ships in the entire world. I'm going to pay for the shipping, because I will never, ever, and I never have asked you for money. I don't ask for donations. I don't ask for snooper chats. I will not ask you for money in any way, and I never, ever have, nor will I contact you in any way. If anybody posing as 1111 True Crime, 1111 Tarot, Mama D, ever ask you for money, please instantly report them. They are a liar. They are a scammer. Don't fall for it. Mama D is not asking you ever for your money. It is free, in fact, to sign Sandra Birchmore's change petition. Free. So if you want to be the voice for the voiceless, put your name down on that line. Go to change.org, or go below in the description. Click that little link for change.org, Sandra Birchmore, and you can be the change today, because we're going to fill that petition up We're going to have it signed. We're going to get all 27,000 of us over there instead of it being 2,500. I'd love to wake up tomorrow and I'll tell you what, I'll give away. Are you ready for this? I will give away a $25 gift card out of my own pocket, right? A $25 gift card if we can get that petition up to 5,000 signatures. Soon as I see it at 5,000, I don't care who does it. So share the video tonight when I get it out in the open. Once I've uploaded just the Sandra Birchmore life story there. Share that video. Get people listening to that story so that they go sign the petition. If we can get that petition for Sandra Birchmore to 5,000, one of you, I don't care who it is, I'm going to pick somebody random. I don't care if they're a subscriber or a member, either one. I'm going to give away a $25 gift card to whatever you want. You can be like, I want it to Subway. It's yours. I want it to Amazon. It's yours. I'll find a way. And I'll pay the shipping to get it to you. I'm serious. That's how important this is to me. Because it's about giving back. It's about sharing what we can do for an unborn child that never got to breathe. For a mother that never got to be a mom. For a child, Sandra Birchmore, that never got to be a child. It is absolutely heartbreaking. Barbara Lovely, thank you so much. But you have to do it after the live because there's no way for me to search the live when it comes time. So you have to do it in the comments after the live ends. So once we're not live broadcast and it's a replay event, a rewatch, then please go back and put DVC giveaway because that is exactly right, the way to write it. Now remember, don't put a whole bunch of anything with that. And here's why. I have to serve that off, and I'm not going to be replying to the DVC giveaway. So if you want to leave me a comment that you would like me to respond to, make that separate. You can post twice. It won't hurt you. Jenny says, after the live is over and video is posted, then come back and post DVC giveaway. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Vanilla, great question. Where do I find the petition? Please and thank you. Happy to go get it for you right now. I'm going to go grab it, even though it is, whoops. Hold on. We're just going to go change. Anytime you ever want a petition, you go change.org, then go Sandra. Sorry, I know. I don't know why I do that. Sandra Birchmore. And it comes up instantly. And, I mean, you just have to put petition and the person's name. Google it. But I want to get you there right now. So here is the link. Thank you so incredibly much. Ooh, the next goal is 5,000. Let me get it over here. Hold on. I'll show it to you. Already we've had some big change in it. Let me get it over here on this screen. We'll go to... Look at that. Look at that. 2515. When you guys get it to 5,000, whenever this petition is 5,000, I will give you or someone that wins, a random person, $25 gift card, you name where you want it to be. In the meantime, y'all, 30,000 subs, a DVC giveaway after the live. Yep, y'all sign that petition. I want to see it up to 5,000 like a video, right? It took me 2 seconds to sign it. You can opt in as anonymous or you can put your name. It don't matter. And we weren't at 2,500 when I went to sign it. I signed it, I think, 2 nights ago or somewhere around there. So it's not gaining as much traction, but it will now, right? It will now. Y'all go enter. This is a great prize. Thank you, Barbara, so much for coming and visiting. You said, I have to go. Thank you for talking about Sandra. We need to raise awareness and put pressure on the Attorney General and the FBI to bring justice to Sandra and the unborn child, her unborn child. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. I hope to hear from you in an email. That would be fantastic. Aw, Kylie. Thank you, lovely. I so appreciate you. Mrs. Jonesy, welcome as a starlight. You're going to be able to get on our members live chat this part of the week coming up. I got all tongue-tied. Yes, the petition. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. I will double that, Mama D. Sent through PayPal. You're getting a $50 card, right? Jennifer's giving you $25. I'm giving you $25. A $50 gift card when that hits to $5,000. But we're only giving away one card, and it's a random person that's a subscriber, or and make sure your name is on that list. Do it, really do it, support it, so that you feel honest, right? Because we're not going to check. We're going to trust that you sign the petition. I absolutely trust you. But Jennifer just met me. Match made in heaven, right? And now we're giving away a $50 gift card. I can't wait to check it. Now, I'm going to be checking the petition every morning to see how much it's growing. And to get people to sign the petition, right, which is what we want, you can show the video I will drop, right, that you watched without interruption from me or our live. It will be its own thing. You can share that in Facebook groups about Sandra Birchmore, or just share it in your Facebook group. Bring awareness to people. And that'll get a lot more people to sign it for us. Signed and donating. You rock, Glenda Henshaw. You rock. Thank you, Jenna Bill. Thank you, Tara. Thank you. Or is it Tara? Thank you, Tara. Glenda's like, I will forget about it, Lord. I'm writing myself a note. I better do that on the gift card. Whoop. Hold on. I dropped my notebook. And it had to go across the room. Lucky, can you get my little green? I got these special little, I know y'all call them stickies, but Jenny Bill sends them to me. And I think this is what the FBI uses for all their important record keeping. I always feel special. All right, $50 gift card. Now, I won't be able to get the card until we have a winner, because the person is going to pick what they want. Do they want a book gift card? Do they want a Subway gift card? Do you want a Toys R Us? I don't think that's in business. I think I just aged myself. So this gift card is from Jenny, my Jenny, and me. To you, to thank you for helping us on the Sandra Birchmore, getting justice for her, because that's so important. Kylie Jackson says, you're amazing, Mama D, and we appreciate all your hard work. I am so glad to hear that you appreciate. I will tell you, that was a lot of hard work, but it was like God told me, this is what you need to do right now, Danny. This is where you take your stand, because you can feel it. You stay on this. This was an unborn life, a gift of life that never even got to experience anything. This was a young mother that never got to hold her own child or give birth or even anything. It's all gone. All because some dick, literally a detective, dick, wanted to tie up some loose ends so his life is convenient, in my humble opinion. It is DVC, Digital Video Camera Giveaway. Make sure you do it, DVC giveaway, because those are the words and those are the ones that are going to come up on the search, right? Glenda Henshaw says, I'm going back to check on it after Mama D is over. I can't believe her right now. I can't leave her right now. She is preaching to us. I'm just so excited. My beautiful family stands behind me so much on this because I was like, man, what if nobody wants to start a new case? And I'm this deep in this case. I can't let go. And God kept telling me, have faith, have faith. This is important. This is where you need to be right now. So I want to say thank you for staying with me. And you matter. You matter. Sandra. See, I don't know. Maybe her baby was a girl and she was going to call it Sarah. I'm not kidding. Because I know it's Sandra Birchmore. But every time I think of Sandra, I also feel a Sarah. And I don't know. Vanilla says, signed the petition. Yeah. She says, thank you, Mama D, for sharing this with us. You rock and are amazing. Thank you. That's how I feel about you guys. You rock. You are amazing. Justine says, I just signed the petition. Let's update it. I don't know how often it changes. 2515 to 2527. You rock, you rock, you rock. We just got 12 signatures just like that. Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. Aw, we love you too, Glenda. Thank you, my dear. I'm going to figure this out and do videos on coral reef and my diving explorations. Well, Glenda, I hope that you have a lot of good luck. I have no idea. I'm going to be picking the winner when we hit 30,000 subs blind. Literally live. So I'm going to have the phone with it all sorted, and I'm going to spin it on the subscribers that say the DVC, and I'm going to be like, that one. And that'll be our winner. So it's going to be interesting. Tara says, that's my daughter's name. I answer to it as well. You make me laugh. My name is Sandra, and I'm always called Sarah. Thank you, Sandra Potter. So weird to me that I have to fight not to say Sarah. Glenda Hinshaw says, I try to make lives. I seem to miss them. I have a bell for Mama D, but I'm always on rerun crew. Well, that's important too, lovely. That is important too. I thank you if you're on replay crew. I thank you if you're watching live. It all helps a lot. All right, my lovely Luz. I have a lot of work behind me to do because I want to get this uploaded and share the story of Sandra Birchmore that I kind of put together on its own away from the live so that you have something to share that doesn't ramble on. You know, Mama D, I like to chit chat a lot. It's 1,800 degrees, exactly 1,800 degrees in my house right now. 1,800. Gives me a rosy cheek though, doesn't it? Carolyn Forth says, can't wait to share your video out. So well done. It's exactly what this case needs. I felt it too. I felt completely guided in every step that I took. After I upload it, I may throw it out there as a premiere tonight. Let's see, it's 8:09. I might, just for some late night watchers that just want to jump on and do a premiere with me. And I won't be on screen. I won't be live. The video will replay without my commentary. It'll have my original recorded commentary, but no live. But I could type with you then. So stay tuned for that. Kylie, it's cold where you are? Well, here. I just sent you all that warmth from your 1111 family. Thank you for gifting all those beautiful memberships, and we greatly appreciate that. We have some beautiful starlights, and they're going to get to do that members live chat coming up this week, either Wednesday or Thursday. Don't forget, I'm about to go. I'm about to get off here. Don't forget, DVC giveaway. right? 30,000 subs. Make sure you're a subscriber. DVC giveaway. Put it after the live. Let me move this. I'm always so careful with it. As well as if you want a $50 gift card giveaway, then you got to get that petition for Sandra Birchmore up there. All right? I will see you again very, very soon. Maybe if you feel like it, if you're still awake or whatever time you're in, jump on. We're going to do, like I said, it'll be a premiere. I'll be able to type with you and I'll be in the audience, but the video will still play. And then we'll watch it together and we're going to ship it out to everybody we can get on Sandra's case. That's what we need to do. So I love you. I love you a whole bunch. Let me get you over. Let me get rid of all this. Okay. Get rid of this and this. I'm sounding Southern, aren't I? I do love you. I appreciate your time. You are the voice for the voiceless. And you do make a difference already. But you can make a huge difference in just focusing your love for Sandra Birchmore and get her name out there for me. It would mean the world to me. I thank you. Have a wonderful night. If I don't see you on the premiere later tonight, I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. What'd I do? Oh.
When a train whistles far away, and when the cold wind blows, when the lightning in your eyes reveals the darkness in your soul, the world will be reminded of what it already knows. 'Cause the days are gonna whisper, and the months are gonna talk, until the years yell out the truth. Time will tell, time will tell on you. No one may ever say a thing, but surely as the seasons change, you feel like every finger points at you, 'cause you're to blame. And the days are gonna whisper, and the months are gonna talk, until the years yell out the truth. And time will tell, time will tell on you. It's gonna tell on